You are watching DuBoisNow. Talk about community affairs and government happenings in the city of DuBois, Pennsylvania. This video is produced and underwritten for DuBois TV by the Kinetic of downtown DuBois. Of course.
Get into the Kinetic, and we'll teach you the art of digital media production and help you create your own TV show. Or, if you're a business, partner with us and help us to continue lighting up your community through the power of digital media.
Are you looking for a unique advertising opportunity for your business? Scared of the high cost of reaching new customers? Thanks to DuBois TV working with us, we've had fresh talent come in and create various forms of TV shows just for you. Shows that are entertaining, technical, and above all, educational. Even more so is that our shows are fun and exciting for people of all ages. So come on, check out DuBoisTV.net with original content filmed and produced here at the Kinetic. Sponsor our TV shows and you can be seen on YouTube, Facebook, even during live webcasts, and be loved by people from all over. What are you waiting for? Sponsor a show today and you'll become a hero. Join the digital revolution with DuBois TV and the Kinetic. Minds in motion.
Additional underwriting support for this broadcast was provided by our friends at Latinos & Company of downtown DuBois. Latinos & Company Mexican Restaurant offers an extensive menu of authentic, freshly made Mexican food served up in a unique and historic, beautiful downtown DuBois building. Visit us for some exciting signature specialty dishes that you just won't find anywhere else. To learn more, call 814-371-8627. Latinos & Company is proud to sponsor DuBois TV, as well as other community organizations. Thanks to Latinos & Company for their support.
Welcome to another episode of DuBoisNow. Hi, I'm your host, Herm Suplizio. Today I'm with Kristen Vida. Kristen is from DuFAST, and we're celebrating a little milestone for DuFAST Transit.
That's right. 40 years of service. Last Tuesday, July 1st, was our official kickoff for our 40th year of service. We had a celebration downtown at our bus depot at St. Michael Terrace, and you were fortunate to be a part of that.
Beautiful day, I mind you, too.
It was absolutely beautiful, and, you know, had it rained, it would not have been as successful as it was. We had several hundred people in attendance, most of them our passengers and residents from the high-rises downtown, and, you know, elected officials and, you know, people that we work with and partner with throughout the community were there to help us celebrate, and it was a wonderful event.
Yeah, as Kristen said, I happened to be there, and it was a fabulous turnout. I went through a lot of hot dogs that day.
We did. David Logan from Logan's Quick Lunch dished out, I believe it was 450 hot dogs to be exact. Yes.
Dave has the best hot dogs around.
He does. Yes. Kudos to Dave and his entire team, his family, essentially. Yeah, they did a great job for us.
So maybe tell us a little bit, you know, maybe for the viewers out there, you know, maybe a little bit of history of DuFAST Transit. Maybe let's even start with, a lot of people maybe don't know, how did DuFAST ever get its name?
Okay. Well, essentially, DuFAST Transit is a transportation authority. We're a municipal authority, and we provide service to DuBois, Falls Creek, and Sandy Township. So that, in a sense, is where the name is originated from. The DU is for DuBois, the FA for Falls Creek, and ST for Sandy Township.
That's something. But probably a lot of people out there don't know that.
You're right. The older generation is aware of that, but not the younger generation. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Maybe walk us through 40 years, long time. You know, maybe just tell the viewers out there, you know, a little bit of what has happened over the 40 years, the difference in the buses and maybe just different things, probably the fare, the cost of running the organization.
Right.
Sure.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think it's important to go back to the beginning and how, the Transportation Authority originated. And, we always give credit to Father Dan Dembski, who was the pastor at St. Michael Terrace at the time. And he really felt there was a need, especially among senior citizens, getting them to their doctor's appointments, to the grocery store, bringing them in from the outer areas of Sandy Township and Falls Creek into DuBois, because at that time DuBois, the city, was the hub. And since then things have spread out, into the township. But Father Dan worked, he kind of spearheaded the effort. But you had a lot of local citizens that were involved as well. Laverne Wilson, also needs to be credited with, being involved with the early years of DuFAST and for the decades that continued. Also, the DuBois Area Junior Women's Club was instrumental as well. They initiated the initial surveys. They made the telephone calls at, to all the residents. Would you be interested in riding the bus? Where would you pick it up at? Where would you go? What times of the day? And that's how the routes developed. And what's interesting is, that effort, there was some there was resistance. A lot of the municipalities at the time, in particular the city, there were doubts about could the system survive? Could we really support it locally? And but Father Dan was very persistent, and he got his way. Officially, DuFAST was incorporated January 25th of 1974. And then it's important to note that the municipalities, even to this day, appoint the representatives that serve on the 7-member board of directors. The Sandy Township and Falls Creek get to appoint 2 members each, and then the city 3 members. Wow. Yeah. And what's interesting to note is that, Father Dan, everyone credits him for being the patriarch of DuFAST, but believe it or not, he was not appointed as a board member. I think that was it is well. Yeah. I think at the time, he probably could at the time might have been a thorn in the city's side. His persistence, and so they bypassed him. But we've had numerous community members, that have served, on the board.
Some good board members too.
We have had some, wonderful board members, and it was in the beginning years it was a lot of work, and building up the authority, and DuBois really was an example, and it was a role model for other rural transit agencies across the state. We were heavily involved with Penn State University and State College in calculating and tabulating all the survey results, on the system, and kind of assessing the need. And they were very instrumental in helping form the authority as well.
That's really something.
Yeah.
How about maybe the difference in the buses? Obviously 40 years, got to be a lot of difference in the buses. And
our first buses were actually Mercedes, and they were a well-built, good bus. And, we cannot, purchase Mercedes buses now. I mean, they're manufactured, but, over the years, there's a lot of laws and regulations, and there's, the Buy America agreement. So, we cannot purchase, foreign vehicles, and they are well-built vehicles, and they were smaller. At the time back, when the authority was formed, that the vehicles were a minibus. They were much smaller, but now the way that regulations are and how buses are manufactured, they're much larger. The seating capacity is still the same, but looks wise, they're much larger.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. I bet they're big. How about? I know you weren't around 40 years ago when DuFAST first started. But what do you think the difference in the prices of buses? Got to be astronomical now.
Honestly, I don't know what the price was, for the Mercedes back then, but today it all depends. Now, we do have some smaller buses that we call BOCs, which is body on chassis. Those are 14-passenger vehicles. You do not need a CDL to drive them, but though they cost around between $70,000 and $80,000. They have a useful life about 5 years. But then we do have a big, 30-foot length vehicle. We actually have 2 of them that we rotate out every day. Those are definitely, hundreds of thousands of dollars, for those vehicles. Yeah.
Well, it's something. How about maybe letting the viewers know, I'm sure, a lot of us know, obviously, but maybe just for some people out there don't know, some of your routes, like where can you pick up the buses? Where are these routes at? Well,
and then that's important because we provide what we consider in the transit agency, it's fixed route transportation. So it's scheduled stops, okay? Our main route, we have 4 routes, okay? But the blue route is the route that is the most heavily used. That route, all the routes essentially start at St. Michael Terrace in downtown. That's our hub. That route goes out to all the retail shops in Sandy Township. It also goes, to DRMC, or I guess it's Penn Highlands now. Penn Highlands. That, and so most people are on that bus. And what's nice about that bus, that's our larger bus, but for those that have wheelchairs or mobility devices, it's so much easier for them to board because we have a ramp in front, as opposed to the smaller vehicles, which have a lift in the back. So
if you're wheelchair bound, you can't climb up the steps.
Right. The blue route, and that's what's nice about those bigger vehicles is that they, much more passenger friendly, and that's what. And there's an area in the front of the bus where a lot of people will put their, their grocery bags.
Yeah, and that's nice to know. I mean, for the people to know. I mean, if you're if you're, as Kristen just said, if you're wheelchair bound, you don't get along real well, those buses work out perfect for you.
They really do. And then, our green route services like the Beaver Drive area. And, it also goes out to Sebula, brings the people in from Sebula. The red route brings the people in from the Falls Creek area. So the green and the red route are our feeder routes. And then we also have something called the Loop, where it doesn't operate, every day of the week. It only operates Monday through Friday from 10 to 4, because that's like our peak times. And it essentially shuttles people from the mall to Walmart and everywhere in between. So you can just, kind of hop on. And we know that the number one reason our passengers are riding is for retail purposes. So we felt a need to, to kind of experiment with that route and give that a try.
So somebody at the high rise, one of the high rises uptown, want to go and do their Christmas shopping, or they want to do their weekend grocery shopping.
Right.
You're basically a big part of that for them.
Absolutely, we are. We are a lifeline for many senior citizens and people with disabilities, and even for low income people as well. People can't afford the cost of a vehicle or to maintain insurance. But I also think, though, there's a stigma in regards to rural transportation. People think it is only for the senior citizens and for the poor, and it's not. It is for people like you and me. It's for everyone. We really want to try to attract, it's perfect for students and for, the youth, to go to the city pool or, to the movie theater. We really want to try to attract them, and we're hoping that we'll be able to partner with perhaps like the school district to do some, fun things this year.
Well, that's a great idea. The name of that, I think everyone knows that DuBois is just congested, especially when school's in, but even when school's out. I mean, to try to get around DuBois, and I know we're in the midst of doing a traffic study here probably in the next couple months, but it's tough to get around, and this only helps. DuFAST only helps that situation. Well,
you're right, and I think more people need to realize that we are an asset to the community. They need to get on the buses and to give it a try. But you're right, and that traffic also impacts DuFAST, because my buses can't be on time with all the traffic. And you're right, the school traffic, every Friday, even in the summertime, right around the holidays. I mean, it's really is horrendous.
Yeah, so, you're right. Yeah. How about, people out there want to know what's it cost? I want to hop on the bus. I want to go out to the mall, do some shopping. Right. Is there a cost to this?
Yeah. Well, if you are a senior citizen, and what we consider that is 65 years or older, and that's according to the state. So we have to follow the state rules on that. So if you're 65 and older, you can get a free transit pass, and so you have the ability to board the bus. Once we issue that pass, because there is an application, and it takes literally 2 or 3 minutes to fill out. We issue you your pass. Each time you board, you show the driver. But if you're not 65, it's $1.25 one way for an adult. Students are 75 cents. So and a student is, you're right. What can you get for $1.25 these
not much,
days?
Not much, that's for sure.
But we also have passes as well, for people that are the frequent riders. For $10 you get 10 rides, $20 20 rides, and unlimited amount of rides for $40, but that's for a 30-day period.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and we do have frequent riders, I have to, mention that we do have a lot of younger riders, and, when Lori Lewis was our first celebrity rider for July, and, she had broadcasted live on the bus, and she just kept saying, I cannot get over the amount of people that ride that are younger. They're young. And I said, they are, but they don't ride as often as the senior citizens do. But,
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
What do you think, maybe just to touch on real quick, the changes have been, maybe just even since you've been there, maybe tell the viewers how long you've been the director of DuFAST, and maybe some of the things you've seen change since you've been the director.
Well, I've been there 9.5 years, and I have to tell you, I almost feel like we're in the business of compliance and not transporting people, because the amount of regulations and the paperwork and all the reporting that gets done, I mean, it's I've really noticed, that in regards to me solely. Now, if you're looking at the changes over the past 40 years, I wouldn't say that the type of service we provide certainly has not changed, but I think the demographics are, the population is aging, the baby boomers are, coming to age, and looking at it used to be that families were a one vehicle household. So a lot of people, more people were riding the buses at that time. But now, I think every single person has a vehicle.
Yeah,
obviously,
you're probably right.
Going back to the congestion in DuBois.
Sure.
So everyone is driving. And so we don't see as many people on the buses. And that's something I'm not afraid to talk about. People need to realize, we're here for the community, and if they want us to continue to be around, they need to ride the buses more often and
it's
try
cheap.
it out.
I mean, it's dirt cheap to do that, and you don't have to be, the hassle of being the driver behind the wheel, and and it sounds like maybe you could even touch on from what you said, obviously DuBois Sandy, but Falls Creek too. I mean, we have Falls Creek in there. I'm sure where's the stops in Falls Creek?
Right. Well, obviously the post office is the main stop there, Main Street in Falls Creek, but then we also go out to Goodwill Industries. We provide several of their employees rides. We are their transportation. And so, we think very highly of Goodwill, and, we're lucky to be able to partner with them and to provide transportation for their employees.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Good. How many employees do you have?
Whoa, now you're putting me on the spot. Like, I should know this. There's not many of us, but I have 5 full-time drivers, and I have 3 part-time, in the process of hiring another part-time, and then 2 staff, and I'm one of those staff people. So, so that's how many is that? That's 11 right now, in the process of 12. But we're very proud of our drivers. We have very little turnover in regards to our full-time employees. I mean, We've our longest employee's been there 21 years. I think then then our least amount is years is 6 or 7. So I'm very, very fortunate. In regards to part-time, we've had they've been there several years as well. But one of the challenges is, when you're trying to fill vacations and that, and people are off, we're always trying to, just have some casual, we need casual people to rely on that can just fill in for us. Yeah.
Maybe you could touch on a question that, people have hit me on, and so I'll put you on a spot a little bit here. We have ATA and we have DuFAST. Maybe you can tell the viewers out there, what's the difference?
Okay. ATA is a regional provider, okay? They are providing transportation for Clearfield, Jefferson, Elk, Cameron, Potter, and McKean counties. And they provide every type of public transportation that's available. They have fixed routes. They have routes between communities. So from DuBois to Punxsutawney or DuBois to Clearfield, they provide that service. They have fixed routes within, St. Mary's and Punxsutawney and Clearfield. And then they also have like a demand response service, which is sort of similar to a cab service, but there are, some restrictions and reservations are required, and there's a different fare structure. We actually, coordinate with them. We jointly own our facility up on Spider Lake Road.
So you share some of the costs then?
We do. And whether DuFAST is providing the service or it's ATA, DuBois will still have a fixed route, system. It's just that we're very proud. We were incorporated, and we were the first public transit agency in the region, and then ATA came about, I believe it was 2 or 3 years later. But we subcontract our maintenance to them. We jointly own our facility, and we, are currently, trying to coordinate more. We are going to be expanding our facility, enhancing it, our infrastructure needs. So, so we do, have a
good working relationship with them.
We do.
That's great. Yeah. And I've always heard that, and I thought that was very big to tell the viewers, obviously what the difference is, and you've explained that very well, and that's good to know. And too, sharing the cost is big, and especially today's day and age, where you try to keep all your overhead, you try to keep it down.
Exactly. And then one of the ways that DuFAST wants to continue to do that is eventually, over time, convert the entire fleet to CNG.
That'd be something maybe tell our viewers about, and the cost savings that would come about with something like that.
Absolutely. We are looking to convert our fleet over to CNG. We would actually do it as a stepped process. We would phase them in as we are retiring a vehicle. We would replace it with CNG. Currently we are looking at a bi-fuel vehicle, gasoline and CNG. And for that reason, it's because right now there is no CNG fueling station in DuBois. So I can't put the cart before the horse. So, that's, we're looking within the next 12 months to have a bi-fuel vehicle, and then the following year and phase it in like that. Yeah. And that's something we really, are excited about, and, certainly be able to save on fuel cost. Right now, we just finished my fiscal year runs July 1 to June 30. So, our fuel last year was around $75,000. So we're looking to,
if you get that cost down, that'd be nice.
That would be huge. Yeah. Absolutely. And so, that's something, it's the green thing to do. It's, environmentally friendly. It's cheap, and we want to be able to support, natural gas. It's a domestic product. So
yeah, that's right.
And they're certainly drilling in Pennsylvania. So something that we want to support.
That is
Absolutely.
True. That is good. Maybe tell the viewers out there a little bit more about your depot. What you have going on there, and where's it at, and I know you touched on it a little bit, but maybe just explain to the people again that obviously it's not just for the older folks too.
That's right. Our hub has always been, since the inception, Well, I don't want to say the inception of the authority, because St. Michael Terrace came about after the authority was created. But St. Michael Terrace is in downtown DuBois, and that is essentially for 25 years has been a hub. And I had always, in my 9.5 years at DuFAST, I always felt bad for the people waiting for the bus in the freezing cold, in the hot weather. And so I approached Jack Amick, who is the property manager at St. Michael Terrace, and I said, what do you think if we try to coordinate or do something here, that could help the passengers out? And so we partnered together and to basically build an enclosed area onto the front of St. Michael Terrace. And so there's benches inside there, and it's air conditioned in the summertime, there's heat in the winter, and it's a place where we have our schedules posted, and it's been a real, that's something I'm very, very proud of. That was a nice small infrastructure improvement that was added to downtown DuBois, and it definitely benefits our passengers. And what's ironic about St. Michael Terrace is that Father Dan Dembski, who founded, DuFAST, also was responsible for the construction of St. Michael Terrace. Yeah.
I think we'd be remiss, and I know it's not totally about DuFAST, but to talk about Father Dan for a second. Father Dan was involved in a lot of stuff here in DuBois, and I'm sure for some of our older viewers will remember Father Dan. But when we had the flood in '72, I know you were little back then, but he was a very big standout citizen that really came forward for everybody. For all the citizens down there, the flood victims.
Yeah.
And so Father Dan really needs to be, a pat on the back, for what he did for us and what he did for all the people, all the flood victims at that time. Not only, and I'm sure those are just a couple things that he's did, but obviously being the pastor of St. Mike's and just a lot of things that he did, really, he needs to be commended and never forgotten.
That you're absolutely right, and he is so important to the to DuFAST and to so many people and residents of this area, and we don't want to forget him, and we also don't want to forget the passengers. I mean, they are the lifeblood of DuFAST. Without them,
there's no DuFAST.
There's no DuFAST. I don't have a job. My drivers, and I do have to, really express my appreciation for my drivers, because they're out there every day.
They're dealing with those traffic jams and the snow and the rain.
Right, and the passengers, because I have to tell you, we have we love our passengers, but we certainly have stories about our passengers as well. And, our drivers, sometimes think, they're like, they should pay me because I'm like their therapist, and they listen to their problems all day long. And my drivers are, going out of their way to help, people and with their groceries and, when they're boarding. And, they have a demanding job. A lot of people just think, oh, it'd be so nice to have a cake job, just drive around town. Well, it's not. I mean, they have to maintain a schedule. They have to deal with, irate drivers out on the road, and sometimes irate passengers who, are running behind, because, of traffic, and they're running behind for their appointments. So
absolutely. How about it? Yeah, you're right. And they should be commended. I know most of all your drivers, and really they should be well commended for what the job they do. And, through the winter time, you got the, a couple inches of snow on the roads and things like that. So they really do need to be commended. So, that's nice of you to say. How about, maybe, just because these are a couple things that I don't know, maybe, how many passengers ride the bus in a month, or a week?
Well, we average 200 passenger trips a day. And
well, that's a lot more. I didn't really realize it was that many. That's a lot of trips.
And but you know what? It's not as many that used to ride. I will tell you. And that's what's sad. And here's the thing, though: we do not, because we're a public system and we have public bus stops. We don't make people register. So I can't tell you, what, Herm, of the 20,000 people that live in our surrounding area that that 10% of them are riding, and that I can name you, every single passenger, because they don't register. We could just go to the mall and 10 people may board, and we don't know, who they are, don't really know their specifics,
Sure.
about them or where they live. Now, I will tell you though, because we are a small agency, and we know, our passengers, we know who they are, and that's just because we're a, small town, DuBois, and we're more of a family-oriented business, and we know our customers.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But they don't have to register. You don't have to make a reservation. You just show up and board at a bus stop. And people can get our schedules visiting our website, www.dufast.com. I have to say that. We just recently revamped our website, so we're proud of that. But, people can call the office. We'll mail out the schedules. The schedules are available at the city building, at the bus depot, on all the buses. A lot of the area hotels have our schedules. Sure. Public library across the street. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, Kristen, we're going to wrap things up here. Maybe tell the viewers out there that you're going to be doing some bus routes with some celebrity.
That's right. You're going to be our celebrity rider for the month of August, and people are going to be hearing a lot more about DuFast this year. We're really trying to get people on the bus, so hopefully, people will, help us celebrate our 40th year, and we'll see them on the bus.
Excellent. 40 years is just hard to believe, so hats off to you. Your staff did an excellent job. I'm here today with Kristen Vida for DuBoisNow. Kristen, thank you very much for coming. I think it was very informative to everybody. Thanks again for watching another episode of DuBoisNow. Till next time, I'm your host, Herm Suplizio.